Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 where I'm gonna get a soda and continue with the video. You know where my granddad put that? The Fanta? Granddad's so stupid that he put it seriously right there. Does it seriously have to be with the chalky milk? Like what the hell? What the fuck's that milkshake? I can barely even read because I can barely see on the screen. But if you can read it, put it in the comments, please. But look, he put the fucking Fanta. Look, the Fanta's right here. Why? That's racist. Wait, putting this, a Fanta into chalky milk, I don't think that's racist. I think it's bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's gonna put you right there. Everyone, you know he's there. If he goes somewhere else, then where the fuck did he go then? Okay, I'm gonna stand on the ground this time. I'll get the remote again. Oh, did I click something wrong?
Of the plane's last known location, somewhere southwest of Australia. Other investigators used
Wow.
a different tactic, working backwards from locations where debris eventually drifted ashore and analyzing weather systems, drift patterns, and
Okay, I'm going to get bored, so I'm just gonna put you right there. Can everyone see?
Tens of thousands of miles of coastline in the Indian Ocean. Experts also had to worry about a phenomenon that they dubbed the Gibson.
How? Where do you need to be?
Already been found simply because people were already looking there and take focus off of other areas.
If you can't see it properly, so sorry.
And skewed the data. The Gibson effect was named for Blaine Gibson, an American lawyer/adventurer whose goal is to visit every
I'm gonna
country
open
in the
my
world.
Fanta.
Gibson also can't resist a mystery, and since learning the
fuck's
fate of
happening?
flight
Fanta.
MH370, he's arranged his
Gampu Panda.
After visiting Malaysia,
Sipping on a Fanta.
lost on flight
Okay, now you can watch it.
Gibson figured the best way he could help was by being on the ground, and he began visiting coastal areas where debris might wash out and painstakingly combing the beaches for clues. Even though this amounted to searching for a needle in a haystack, Gibson's crazy idea actually paid off. On the advice of some Australian oceanographers about ocean currents and drift patterns, Gibson first visited Mozambique, where he asked local fishermen to show him where they'd often find washed-up nets and fishing equipment. Against all odds, there he found a scrap of metal that looked suspiciously like a plane part, and it was later confirmed to be part of MH370's horizontal stabilizer panel. More discoveries would follow, and Gibson built a network of locals all along the Indian Ocean coastline who would bring or sell him their finds. In the end, of the several dozen pieces of debris found that were confirmed or suspected to be from MH370, Gibson would be personally responsible for finding 1/3 of those pieces. And in case he ever forgot why he was doing this, he often found empty purses and backpacks washed up along with the debris, a haunting reminder of the lives lost. So, what are the biggest things we've learned in the years since Malaysian flight MH370 disappeared?
Okay.
What do we know now that we didn't know back then? Well, first of all, we can rule out most of the prevailing conspiracy theories about flight MH370 that are kicking around.
Okay, I think part 2 or part 1, I do not know. I think during part 2, what day did the plane go missing? Put it in the comments and then turn back on. It's 11 minutes and 23 seconds. Okay, let's get back. I've put it in one of my YouTube shorts, I think. Yeah.
Line. There's a faction that claims the unusual signals picked up by radar and satellite were fraudulent, designed to disguise the plane's true flight. Although proponents of this theory don't seem to have any idea what the point of that true flight was. There's also the British tarot card reader who was sailing near South Asia when she witnessed what looked like a missile or a plane on a suicide mission flying low overhead, headed for a nearby Chinese fleet. When she returned from her holiday and learned of the disappearance of flight MH370, she concluded that what she had seen must have been the missing plane, and spread her theory across the web, despite being nowhere near the plane's path. There are even those who believe that the plane flew into some sort of time warp or a black hole. According to William Longovicia, a writer for The Atlantic, none of those theories hold any water, and even less outlandish ones often ignore the satellite data, and in some cases also the radar tracks, the aircraft systems, the air traffic control record, the physics of flight, and the basic contours of planetary geography. And of course, there are also plenty of people who have looked to capitalize on the tragedy and mystery. One Australian man claimed to have found the plane's wreckage on Google Earth, sitting intact in shallow waters. Obviously, he refuses to give up the location of this monumental find until his Kickstarter campaign for an expedition is fully funded. If we ignore the straight-up conspiracy...
I think I saw in a video on YouTube Shorts, an SS Sniper Wolf says if you go into Google Earth and go somewhere near Texas and go to Mount Hook Lake, there's a plane that probably might be the missing LH-370 plane. What missing? Because if I go back just a tiny bit to the Earth bullshit.
Or a plane on a suicide. And in some cases...
Oh,
flying low overhead, headed for a nearby Chinese fleet. When satellites were fraudulent, designed to disguise the plane's true flight. Although proponents of this theory don't seem to have any idea what the point of that true flight was. There's also the British tarot card reader.
In one of the videos, on the side, there was red in that pool. Do you think it will be there? If you guys are still watching, if you want, I can zoom in if you want. There was red on the side of the plane and there was blue. And during her video, when they went there, they saw it. It was actually there. This airplane. No, not the airplane, the whiteboard. So silent. I don't think you'll mind me. I don't think you'll let me draw that, so should do sticky notes. No, okay, fine. I'll watch the video. Because I don't want to make you bored. How long has it been going on? 8 minutes and 13 seconds. Okay! Can you see, guys? Okay.
Who was sailing near South Asia when she... sitting intact in shallow waters. Obviously, he refuses to give up the location of this monumental find until his Kickstarter campaign for an expedition is fully funded. If we ignore the straight-up conspiracies and frauds, what are we left with? Based on everything we've learned in the last few years, experts can make some assumptions about what had happened in those final hours on board Malaysian Flight 27. We know that when the plane deviated from its planned flight path, it was an intentional move. In order to make the tight maneuvers used to turn around, the plane had to have been operated by hand. We also know that the plane then cruised on autopilot for 6 full hours in the direction of Antarctica before it ran out of fuel. Based on the dramatic final descent, the plane reached speeds of 15,000 feet per second before abruptly crashing into the water and exploding into 1,000 pieces. Experts have assumed that the final maneuver was intentional, since it was 5 times faster than we'd expect an unassisted descent.
Wait.
In light of this, it might be a relief to note that most of the passengers and crew on board had probably passed away long before the dramatic last moments of Flight MH370. Flight data shows that shortly after the initial turn, the plane's electronic systems were disabled.
This idiot,
cabin air pressure
he's
system,
racist.
and that whoever was in control of the plane
He's
executed a
racist.
dramatic climb
He's
that likely
racist.
accelerated the
So all
depressurization
failed
of the
and
cabin,
racist and
incapacitating
Scotland.
and killing everyone on board. The onboard oxygen masks, which would have dropped from above in the dimly lit
Bro,
cabin,
how the
would
fuck
have
is
been
the
well
current
held
like-
at such a high altitude. Everyone
Take
inside
it.
the cockpit would have quickly passed
It should
out
go
and
like,
died gently
dang,
in their
dang,
beds,
dang.
with no choking or gasping for air. The cockpit, on the other hand, had an hours-long supply of oxygen. The most likely scenario to explain why Flight MH370 disappeared is a dramatic case of pilot suicide. Although the official Malaysian report indicated no problems with either of the pilots, word eventually spread that the pilot in charge, Zahari Ahmad Shah, was recently divorced and had been facing some personal issues, and he was likely clinically depressed. He also had his own flight simulator at home on which he had practiced the exact route that the fated flight took. But these are still just assumptions. There's still plenty we don't know about the tragic disappearance of Flight MH370. We still don't know who was in the cockpit during the deviation, the long flight, and the ultimate end. We don't know for sure why that person, whoever they were, decided to do what they did. We don't know why Malaysian military didn't intervene when they could, and why initial search and rescue efforts were so delayed. We also don't know what else Malaysian officials know that they haven't told us, or why they're so reluctant to share. And of course, although we know roughly where the plane was just before it ran out of fuel, we still don't know for sure exactly where the plane crashed. Sadly, we'll probably never have all of the answers to these questions, and the mystery of Malaysian Airlines Flight
just a
MH370
couple
may
more
never
seconds.
fully be solved. But the search continues for the plane's wreckage, and we may know more in the future than we know right now. Now go watch
Wait.
Top 10 Deadliest Airplane Accidents That Ever Happened, or you might like this other one instead.
Okay. No more. Bye.